Hi, I am Amanda Park, and this is a 5-2 case study. We'll start with the case summary, and the facts of this case are the Lightville community has voted 4-1 to build a new middle school. The district has hired Ms. Susan Potter, and they've hired her 12 months before the school is supposed to be finished so that she can be there to prepare. Ms. Potter is tasked with hiring all new staff, organizing all of the programs for the school, which includes the extracurricular activities and instructional programs. And she's supposed to collaborate with the architects and the construction managers on the project of the middle school. After the staffing decisions were made, Superintendent Rawlings and the school board members, as well as Ms. Potter, they all put together a committee which they referred to as the Visioning and Planning Committee. This committee is going to create a vision statement. So Ms. Potter decided, and she told the committee that she will be a member of the committee, but she wants someone else to be the chair of the committee. And at first, all the members of the committee disagreed with her. They said they wanted her to be the chair because, as a leader, she had all of the capabilities needed to be the chair of the committee. But Ms. Potter made it very clear to them she wants to share leadership responsibilities with teachers. So the others agreed to honor what she wanted. In turn, Helen Burke, an English and social studies teacher, was selected as the chair. Now, it's very important to note that her brother was the only farmer on the board to voice support of the project. He is a board member, and he has told Helen that he thinks Ms. Potter should design the statement on her own. And that's going to play a huge part in this entire case. With the newly appointed committee and its task, a conflict arose. The committee wants Ms. Potter to do the statement herself, just as Helen Burke's brother proposed. And they will then either agree or disagree and help transform it after she has written it herself. The committee says they will help get it quickly approved by the board and the community if it's done this way. And Ms. Potter says she would prefer not to do it herself. And some of the statements she makes are very profound. She says, I don't think having me develop the philosophy, mission, and vision alone is appropriate. A vision statement should reflect the collective thinking of stakeholders. Committee members and subsequently others should have opportunities to promote their beliefs and hopes. I'm new here, and even if I fully understood the community, I would feel uncomfortable making these important decisions by myself. She also says, I will share my philosophy and facilitate decisions, but I don't want to be an autocrat, nor do I want to be put in a position where everyone blindly accepts what I propose. And these two statements themselves show that she has great leadership capability and she prefers to try to lead by example. After discussion and disagreement, the committee has voted to have Ms. Potter do the statement and then they will approve it. They go against everything that she wished for or voiced her opinion for. Helen Burke has told Ms. Potter that she didn't want Ms. Potter to be discouraged by them voting against her. And she told Ms. Potter to trust her on this because the community expects Ms. Potter to lead and be a leader. The facts, more detail. Susan Potter is a newly hired principal. She is the principal of the Lightville Community Middle School, but previously she served as an assistant principal, so this is her first job as a head principal. Before she was an assistant principal, she was a veteran, experienced teacher of many years. The Lightville Community School District is small. It is growing, but it is a small district. They are growing at a pretty high rate, approximately 2% per year. It is a rural community. It is made up of mostly farmers. So the middle school is being built after a controversial vote with the board and the community. The new school was decided on by architects and a planner. And the primary landowners did not like the idea of a new debt being taken by the community. And the community residents did not like the idea of a new school due to the expenses, of course, just like the landowners. But their biggest concern is, of course, a required tax increase. There are some new residents and there are other residents in the community, and all of them together, they have school-age children, and they were all in favor of the new middle school building. And the new building is supposed to alleviate, of course, the growth that's taking place in the two existing buildings. It would alleviate the growth in both buildings. They debated for 4 months, and then the school board voted, and they voted 4-1 in favor of building the new middle school. Voters approved the new middle school, but they approved it by a very small margin, 53 to 47. This small margin could pose issues for any wrong move that's made with the new school, and small town politics are going to play a role in the rights and wrongs with all the decisions that are made with the new school. The best interest of kids needs to never be overlooked, despite the role of these small town politics. So Ms. Potter has a hard job here. She has to tread lightly, but do so with class and integrity as a leader without playing into the hands of politics or what seems to be a source of political power with Helen Burke and her brother in the school board. The legal and ethical issues. While no laws have been broken, there are ethical issues at stake here. Ms. Potter is struggling ethically. She cannot rightfully develop a vision for a whole district and a whole community by herself, with a tagline that claims that the vision was developed by all the stakeholders. In addition to that, she's not originally from this community, and she's very, very new to the community, and she can't rightfully say what they would want because she hasn't been there long enough. Vision statements must have buy in from everyone, and they should never be created by just one person. Ms. Potter puts herself at risk if she develops a statement alone and allows everyone else to sign their names to it. And this leaves room for the committee members to throw her under the bus, per se, at a later date if the vision does not fit the school, the staff, the teachers, or the community. Ms. Potter comes from a predominantly suburban community. She cannot rightfully claim to know this new community, its wishes or its desires, or the manner in which they typically would want things to be done. Ms. Potter knows that true leaders lead by example and not by simply doing everything for everyone. Helen's brother on the Board of Education has become an ethical issue. Is this now a conflict of interest? And this is a battle to be ensued. He instructed Helen to tell Ms. Potter to design the school's philosophy and draft the mission and vision on her own, with the added information that the community does respect the administrators and they rely on them to make these decisions. While it may not be a legal issue now, if teachers and other leaders in the district discover that Ms. Potter has unilaterally made these decisions with the philosophy, mission statement, vision statement, some may rethink their contracts due to a conflict of ethics and the idea that they no longer are professionally aligned with the ethics of the school district, and that could be a potential issue. The issue synthesized. One of the most important responsibilities of any leader is establishing a vision and inviting others to share in its development. Consequently, when Ms. Potter attempts to do just that, the stakeholders involved do not take hold of the opportunity to be a part of the vision for the future of the school. And this relinquishes Ms. Potter's ability to adhere to and further develop the core values, the priorities, and the ethical norms of the community and its future leaders as a whole. The facts synthesized. When we look at the people, Helen Burke presents not only a conflict of interest, but a conflict of boundaries and norms and ethics. Small town politics is playing into the teachers and board members involved. It's playing a huge role in this issue. It is customary to develop school missions and visions through a collaborative process, and it's done with a team of all stakeholders involved. A common understanding of the destination allows all stakeholders to align their improvement efforts. When we take ideas and beliefs of many different people, we come to a consensus that is going to align with more people in the district and the community. Lightville is a small rural community. Ms. Potter comes from a larger suburban community, so place is going to play a role. The demographics are vastly different between the two communities in which Ms. Potter has now experience, suburban versus rural. The taxpayers are paying for the new building, so the philosophy, the mission, the vision, they should all be owned by the community in order to facilitate a journey they're willing to follow. And those mission and vision statements are precisely that. a means by which to follow through a journey to achieve greatness. The program, the new middle school, is not mine, it is ours. Ms. Potter is precisely correct. It belongs to everyone. This is a public school which belongs to the community as a whole, and it should be treated as such. This school will serve crucial years and grades 6 through 8. It facilitates a move from primary to secondary in education as a whole, and it's going to bridge a gap. And so the decisions that need to be made are crucial decisions. If you don't have a common agreed on destination, then everyone is left to his or own devices to imagine one. A scenario that results in unharnessed and unfocused efforts with everyone believing that what he or she is doing is right. The problem with her developing this one statement is that everyone's going to look at it differently because they didn't have input in this. It's as if to say, me and all of my friends are going to go out tonight. And then when we get there, one of them goes and talks to people over here. Another person decides to do karaoke. They all had different ideas of what going out meant. And so, because of that, they all ventured in their own directions and their own journeys when we got to the place where we were supposed to meet. And that's the problem with this particular scenario. Everyone says, oh, we're going to do this, but the idea of what this is very different for everyone. And so when only one person develops that statement, you're going to have very different ideas of what the journey should be like in the process. A review and priority of information. Overall, the conflict, the situation altogether, and decisions made could damage the start of a new building and program from the very get go. This instead should be a time to celebrate when everyone comes together and does what's ethically, morally, systematically necessary for kids at a crucial level in their educational careers. All stakeholders involved, all administrators at all levels, parents, students, staff members, board members, community business members, they all play a role and they have an important stake in the new beginning being crafted for the kids in Lightville through the middle school. A complete success will set new standards for the district and community. Starting out on the right foot is going to do a lot for this community. A disaster will set the community back instead of taking it forward. And ultimately, the future of the kids are the highest stake risk. While the committee has stakeholders who are valuable to decisions for the building, so the principal, 4 teachers in the building, and 4 parents, there definitely need to be additional stakeholders that are added to this committee. The district office, the Board of Education, students, and the community all need a voice in these crucial efforts. Although there is always room to learn more about any given situation, not all of the data or information will always be available for the leaders to make these crucial and necessary decisions. And while more information would help with this particular conflict, it's not necessarily crucial for an ethical decision to be made in order to do what's best for kids in this community. The options. First, there's a take no action. Let it run its course as it already is. You could replace all committee members with new committee members and start over. Completely ignore the vote of the committee, overrule their vote, and proceed with a group collaboration of the mission and vision is another option. When this is done, data and statistics need to be given to the committee to support the purpose of educational collaboration when you are creating mission and vision statements. And the next option would be to add other stakeholders to the committee and then start the discussions from the start again. And again, giving data and statistics to support collaboration. And the last option would be to add other necessary stakeholders to the committee, change the committee norms and guidelines to reflect the necessity of collaborative statements being developed, and again, give data and statistics to support the educational purpose for this collaboration when you create a mission statement or a vision statement. And in addition to this, agree to provide the philosophy statement as a starting point. Ms. Potter had a great point when she said that she would give the philosophy statement and it would be sort of a compromise. So, the possible consequences for taking no action, just letting it run its course as it's already started. Well, these consequences would be that it's highly probable that after Ms. Potter produces a statement of mission and vision, that the group's going to take a longer time tearing it apart, only to try to rebuild it. And when uh, this is taking place, they actually could have started much sooner and taken a shorter amount of time to get the whole collaborative process done. Ms. Potter's mission and vision statements do not pass approval of the Board of Education. The committee has to start from scratch again or take extra time to reframe it, is a possibility. A possible consequence would be Ms. Potter's mission and vision statements pass Board of Education approval, but down the road, the teachers, administrators, they don't see positive achievements from them, and they hold her accountable for a lack of vision in the community as a whole. Ms. Potter's mission and vision statements pass Board of Education approval, lead the building and students to achievement, and is very successful. And Ms. Potter is always known as a visionary leader. So there's a possible positive consequence for taking no action. Possible consequences for replacing the committee members with all new members and just starting over completely. There will be resentment and animosity from the very beginning with the teachers overall due to the involvement of the first committee of teachers who were removed. And then the second committee will be unwilling to collaborate and budge because of the animosity with that first committee. Another possibility, the new committee will do the exact same thing the first committee did, and then Ms. Potter has lost valuable time and they're no closer to an end goal at all. Or the superintendent could not look kindly upon this unilateral decision that's made by the new to district principal, and then she will be seen as overstepping her boundaries to choose a new committee, and it will affect their professional relationship going forward. The new committee will be glad to work collaboratively and develop what is best for all stakeholders and the kids in the community. That could be a possible positive consequence. Or the committee could help to establish a great rapport with the community and the rest of the district. So there are some possible positives. If Ms. Potter were to ignore the vote, overrule it, and just proceed as she wants to, and of course, giving data and statistics to support the reason for collaboration, these consequences could be the committee members may be very difficult to work with because they did not vote for this course of action, and um, it could ultimately result in resentment or no statement being made at all. The committee members may look at Ms. Potter as someone who does not follow what she says, and they may lose respect for her. The committee members may respect the fact that Ms. Potter takes a stand on leadership, takes control, and makes sure the collaborative process takes place, and the statements may end up a big success, and Ms. Potter could earn more respect in the process. Again, a positive. If we were to add other stakeholders and restart the process, and again give data and statistics to support the purpose for collaboration, some of these possible consequences could be the beginning committee members could resent the new members and there be divide in the group, so very little gets accomplished. The two groups of committee members, the old and the new, will come together. They'll do what's best for the kids in the community. It's a good possible positive. The old committee members could outvote the new members or tell them they need to vote a certain way, and Ms. Potter's back at the beginning again with time lost and no collaboration. The new committee members could convince the old members to collaborate, and they're able to come to a consensus and collaborate for the best of the community. Again, another possible positive. If we were to add other necessary stakeholders, revise the norms and guidelines, and give a starting point with a philosophy statement, and of course, giving data and statistics in the process as well. The possible consequences of this could be that the beginning committee members will resent the new members as well as Ms. Potter for changing the rules, and there could be a divide in the group so that very little is accomplished. The two group of committee members, old and new, will come together, do what's best for kids and community while using the new norms and guidelines that have been provided to them. The committee could lose members, or the members could lose respect for Ms. Potter because she changed her mind and her stance with the norms and guidelines, making it difficult to work with them and a lack of collaboration still. And the last possible consequence could be that the new committee members convince the old members to collaborate. They're able to come to a consensus and they collaborate for the best of the community under the new norms and guidelines. And Ms. Potter gains a newfound respect from all of the members. Again, a positive. The pros and the cons for all of these. Well, if you take no action, the results could be truly diplomatic and out of Ms. Potter's control. The cons, the results could take much longer to develop. Ethics would be ignored, which would create more ethical issues in the long run. Ms. Potter does not have a true grasp on the leadership and looks as if she's lost complete control from the start. If we were to replace committee members with new ones and start over, the pros would be Ms. Potter makes a statement with her actions and gets the job done. The cons would be the results could take much longer to develop. The ethics would be ignored and more ethical issues would happen in the long run. And resentments could be high for Ms. Potter as well. If the vote was ignored, overruled, and Ms. Potter proceeds, the pros would be the results are truly diplomatic and, again, out of Ms. Potter's control. The cons would be that the results could take much longer to develop. Ethics are ignored. More ethical issues occur in the long run. If we add stakeholders and restart the whole process, the pros, Ms. Potter makes a statement with her actions. She gets the job done, and the new stakeholders are added as a needed value, and they add value to the process. The cons would be the results could take much longer to develop, and there could be resentments that could be high for Ms. Potter. If we add other necessary stakeholders, revise the norms, the guidelines, and provide that beginning philosophy statement. The pros, Ms. Potter makes a statement with her actions and gets the job done while adding value and lessons on norms for collaboration. The cons would be the result could take much longer. Ethics could possibly be ignored, which would create more ethical issues in the long run, and resentments could be high. Want a big impact? It's always necessary to choose wisely. The best option, add other necessary stakeholders to the committee and change the committee norms and guidelines to reflect the necessity of collaboration. In addition, provide data, statistics to support educational collaboration when creating mission and vision statements, as well as provide the philosophy statement as a starting point. This decision takes into account discussions and consultation with all needed stakeholders, which would also cover the concerns and ideas of all of these stakeholders. This decision will also allow for some creativity, some teachable moments, and it holds a good balance of compromise. Effective collaboration is equal to creativity, new ideas, improvements, and a comprehensive plan. So when we put the plan into action, action plus core values and priorities and ethics equals a huge success. So implementation. The path of implementation would be to discuss the issue with the superintendent and gain insight on all of the additional stakeholders that would need to be added. Ms. Potter needs to explain a need for added diversity, teachers and principals from 2 other buildings, community, business leaders, students, and perhaps a representative from the superintendent's office. The next step in the implementation process would be to invite those additional stakeholders to the next meeting. And before that next meeting happens, discuss with current committee members the need to add additional stakeholders. At the first meeting with the new stakeholders, present a new set of norms and guidelines that require collaboration for all products put out by the committee. The norms may actually have to be taught or quickly worked with in the committee itself or created within the committee itself, but it's necessary to not be afraid to take the time to do this. It's a teachable moment, and these are great lessons to be learned. Additionally, the data and statistics need to be given to support the need for collaboration in the creation of a mission and vision statement. These are imperative for sustained growth and achievement because you can have these statements that are created, but if they're not done in a collaborative way, then they're very rarely sustained, and we very rarely see the achievement that is attached to them. And then, of course, we need to provide the committee with a philosophy statement as a starting point for the development of the vision and mission statements. What may happen? Well, any adverse reactions will be dealt with on a professional level, and most of the time it can be dealt with on a one-on-one level so that as to not affect the other committee members. When needed, Superintendent Rawlings may be asked to join in discussion of any disagreements or issues that might arise, such as refusal to collaborate or resistance due to a lack of ethics. Everything needs to remain above board and ethical at all times. The open door for all collaboration and decision making will provide for a comprehensive ability to communicate across the board with everyone, all stakeholders involved. Those who need to be in the loop, of course, Superintendent Rawlings needs to be in the loop. All of the current committee members need to be communicated with. All the school board members need to be made aware. And all future committee members, those who are going to receive an official invite to join the team, they also need to be aware and communicated with as well. Everyone needs to have a shared equity. Individualized communication with warnings. Helen Burke, a conversation needs to be had with Helen Burke. It needs to take place so as to clear the air and professionally address all concerns and keep her informed of the issues, ethical and otherwise. From a leadership perspective, she needs to understand that there's a need for positive change with this community and with the committee itself. And the positive change needs to be that the collaborative process needs to happen. She needs to be made aware that there is possibly an ethical situation with a conflict of interest with her brother. If the need arises, Ms. Burke will be informed of consequences such as removal from the committee. And if she continues to push beyond the professional boundaries and norms established, then that will be handled promptly with a removal from the committee. The rest of the committee will also be addressed to keep everyone involved and informed. So sometimes plans fall through, and when that happens, there always needs to be a second option. So the plan B for this course of action would be that if this particular plan does not work, the second option for a course of action is to look for and hire a consulting firm to come in and specifically work with a committee on the mission and vision statements. Consulting firms that come in and do this will always require a collaborative process, and they'll lead them through the collaborative process. The third course of action would be to remove those from the committee who refuse to work as a team with an evaluative collaborative effort in order to effectively develop this mission and vision statement through a core set of values, a core set of priorities, and the comprehensive ability to communicate in an ethical fashion. Don't rush the vision statement. Doing so leads to skepticism, stress, and distrust, which will lead to a statement that will eventually be ignored. Key ideas, values, and beliefs are the beginning of powerful visions. This can only be accomplished through collaboration, and these are statements that need to be adhered to and addressed by this particular committee. Thank you, and have a great evening.